Good evening and welcome to Whether or Not. We're your co-hosts. I'm Allison Gutleber.
And I'm Joe Ruch.
So Joe, in this upcoming week, we're going to have a lot of sunshine, but we can expect some rain next week possibly.
Yep, Hurricane Delta formed down in the Gulf of Mexico. It will impact the southeast coast and then eventually weaken, could bring us some rain early next week.
Yes, and we'll expect to hear a little bit more about that in Nick's extended forecast. But first, we have our Nature in the News stories. I will be talking about where you could see the Mars in the sky and also the forest fires in California. What will you be talking about, Joe?
I will be taking a look at how climate detectives uncovered a new record low temperature over in the northern hemisphere near the Greenland ice sheet. And also I'll be taking a look at where the record heat this summer ranked in our record books. And we will also have a feature from Ryan on ocean upwelling and downwelling.
But first, here's Nature in the News. This month, you'll be able to spot Mars up in the sky. On October 6th, the red planet makes a close approach towards Earth. Mars' distinctive color is one clue you found it in the sky. Look towards the eastern part of the sky to catch it rising at night. This year, Mars will have a minimum distance of 38.6 million miles. In 2018, the distance was about 3 million miles further than this time. On October 13th, which is this upcoming Tuesday, the red planet will be in opposition, meaning that Mars and the Sun line up with Earth in the middle. That day, you can track the movement of the planet. It will rise in the east as the sun goes down, move across the sky, and then set in the west as the sun comes up. Make sure to go outside and catch this, as Mars won't be this close to Earth again until 2035.
Climate detectives were out in full force discovering a new record low temperature in the northern hemisphere. The low of negative 69.6 degrees Celsius was recently uncovered at an automated station site near the Greenland ice sheet. The low was recorded back in December 22nd of 1991. The record was found in a weather archive created in 2007, which stores historical data in search of records such as high and low temperatures, greatest rainfall, and even heaviest hailstones and longest lightning flashes. This shatters the old record low in the northern hemisphere of negative 67.8 degrees Celsius, which was actually recorded twice at a Siberian site. The World Meteorological Organization Secretary General Professor Petri Talas claims, in the era of climate change, much attention focuses on new heat records. This newly recognized cold record is an important reminder about the stark contrast that exists on Earth. However, this comes nowhere close to the record cold of negative 89.2 degrees Celsius found in Antarctica.
Forest fires continue to burn in California, making the scale much bigger than before. The fires met a major milestone this week when one single fire surpassed 1 million acres. Over all of 2020, 4 million acres have been burnt by wildfires, which is more than half of the previous record. This year alone, 5 of the top 6 fires occurred in all of California's modern history. This includes the largest single fire on record that has charred more than 320,000 acres. Across the state, about 17,000 firefighters have been working to battle the major blazes and will continue until we can end the wildfires.
Extreme weather dominated the headlines during the summer of 2020, ranging everywhere from 130-degree record high temperatures set down in Death Valley, all the way over to the very active hurricane season along the eastern seaboard and Gulf of Mexico. Out west in California, they set the record for the first, third, and fourth largest wildfires to burn throughout the state. However, excessive heat made headlines multiple times as this summer clocked in as the 4th warmest in the United States. Aside from being the 4th warmest summer, it was the 3rd hottest June to August globally. 1,203 cities were investigated by Climate Central. Of those, 452 recorded a top 10 hottest summer, while 55 had their absolute hottest summer. A few nearby examples include Philadelphia, where they experienced no record lows and all record highs. Meanwhile, State College has experienced more record lows than record highs during last summer. This is concerning as extreme heat is the #1 cause of weather-related injuries. Be sure to stay hydrated and follow the news when heat is expected near you.
Hello everyone, I'm Nick Guzzo here with your Central PA forecast. We've had another dry week here in central Pennsylvania, which has not been good for the drought the region has been facing, but I am tracking some relief on the horizon. For Friday, those dry conditions continue as high pressure dominates the region, bringing plenty of sunshine to go around. As we start heading into Saturday, cloud cover will increase a little bit, leading to some partly sunny skies, but temperatures will also be rising into the mid 70s. For Sunday, tracking our next weather maker, a cold front moving in from the northwest. Could see an isolated shower with it in the afternoon and evening of Sunday. It's lacking a lot of moisture, so most could stay dry from this cold front as it moves through, but can't rule out an isolated shower. For Friday, plenty of sunshine, temperatures staying comfortably into the upper 60s. Into the evening, temperatures will drop into the low 50s. Cloud cover will also start to increase as you head into the evening hours of Friday. On Saturday, temperatures will now be on the increase, warming up to above average into the mid 70s. On Sunday, temperatures start to drop back into the upper 60s. Can't rule out an isolated shower as we head into the afternoon and evening hours as we're tracking that cold front. Now I'm going to send it to our very own Ryan DePhillips, who has a feature on ocean upwelling.
Imagine that you're swimming in a relatively warm ocean of 73 degrees Fahrenheit. The next day, you dive in and are shivering in 58-degree water. Then, 2 days later after that, you're swimming back in 73-degree water.
These fluctuations in ocean temperatures are more common than you think and are caused by upwelling and downwelling.
Upwelling brings colder, deep water up to the surface, while downwelling pushes warmer surface water deeper. These events form from a process known as the Coriolis effect, where atmospheric winds deflect the flow of ocean water. In the northern hemisphere, winds blow water 90 degrees to the right of the wind's direction, while in the southern hemisphere, winds blow water 90 degrees to the left of the wind's direction.
If you have a wind blowing from the south to the north, the water is always going to want to be pushed towards the east. But if you're on the East Coast, that means the water is kind of being pushed away from the shoreline. And if you're on the West Coast, it means the water is being pushed towards the shoreline.
Northerly winds push water towards the west in the northern hemisphere. Along the east coast, downwelling occurs when water is pushed towards the coast, and along the west coast, upwelling occurs when water is pushed away from the coast. So, in the northern hemisphere, coastal downwelling always occurs when winds push water towards the coast, and coastal upwelling always occurs when winds push water away from the coast.
Another key mechanism that causes these events is a process known as Ekman transport. It's like sloshing water in a bathtub with your hand.
Your hand represents the wind, and that wind causes a stress on large bodies of water, causing that water to rise or sink. The Coriolis effect then determines which horizontal direction that water veers off. As a result, in the northern hemisphere, surface water moving 45 degrees to the right of the wind spirals downwards toward the coast. Deep water moving opposite from the direction of the wind spirals upwards away from the coast.
The level of the ocean, while it's not perfectly flat, it's pretty much flat. Again, imagine you're in a bathtub and you slosh water to one direction. You can't get the water in your bathtub to be really, really low on one end and really, really high on the other end for any long period of time. It's always trying to go back to this equilibrium.
Many ocean circulations 10 to 100 times smaller than atmospheric circulations often form where upwelling and downwelling occur. Just like atmospheric circulations, they form from changes in temperatures.
We call them mesoscale eddies in the ocean. They're super important and they're everywhere. The ocean is just absolutely chock full of them, just like our atmosphere is chock full of high and low pressure systems. So these things are there all the time, and they're mixing water, and they have upwelling and downwelling associated with them as well.
The curvature of the coast also plays a role in how big upwelling and downwelling can be.
Especially on a point that is jutting out into the ocean. That is really going to maximize kind of your upwelling and downwelling, because what we're doing is we're actually maximizing, for a well-aligned wind direction, we're maximizing the fetch, or kind of the length that wind can kind of exert on the ocean surface.
These events can even have an impact on ocean water clarity.
Upwelling brings more nutrient-rich water to the surface and causes murky waters due to the abundance of phytoplankton. Downwelling brings more nutrient-rich water deeper and causes clear waters due to the absence of phytoplankton.
You take some of the great fisheries in the world, like the Peruvian anchovy fishery, for example. That's an example of an ecosystem that is there basically because of coastal upwelling.
Upwelling equals more plankton, which equals more fish, which means higher profits for these industries.
Which direction the wind is actually blowing means a big deal for the economy. It means a big deal for tourism and beachgoers, the fishing industry. So it's kind of something that's a little more subtle. It's not as flashy. You're not going to have like big upwelling event kind of make the news, but they can be relatively important, especially for local regions and economies.
So, next time you swim in the ocean, be aware of the sudden changes in temperatures that upwelling and downwelling may bring. For Whether or Not, I'm Ryan DePhillips.
Hello everyone, I'm Nick Guzzo back with your extended forecast, and I am tracking some more rain coming up next week. But first, let's recap what we can expect this upcoming weekend. Friday, a great end of the work week with plenty of sunshine and temperatures staying comfortably into the upper 60s. As we start heading into the first half of the weekend, temperatures increasing into the mid 70s, which is 10 degrees above average for this time of the year in State College. Sunday, we see the clouds on the increase, tracking that next weather maker, a cold front. Can't rule out an isolated shower in the afternoon and evening on Sunday, but most will remain dry as that cold front lacks a lot of moisture. Temperatures will be sitting into the upper 60s on Sunday. Now let's look ahead into next week. Seeing rain on Monday, which will be associated with the remnants of Hurricane Delta, and that rain will be much needed here in central Pennsylvania, but also parts of New England as well, as drought conditions have been affecting many states in the Northeast, so that moisture is very welcome. Heading into the middle of the week, we see sunshine coming back into the forecast and could cloud up by the end of the work week, but something to note towards the end of the work week is those temperatures. Rain won't be the only thing falling this week. Those temperatures will be on the decline. We'll see above average temperatures on Tuesday getting into the 70s, but by Thursday and Friday could be into the 60s or even 50s. So that's something to note as you are out and about. You might have to grab that jacket so you don't get that chill. Now I'm going to send it to Joe and Allison back at the host desk.
And back to our Weather Whiz quiz question. What is the leading weather cause of death? Is it A, excessive heat, B, tornadoes, C, hurricanes, or D, flash flooding?
The correct answer is A, excessive heat.
Yes, so excessive heat comes in first. Behind that in second is flash flooding. Third is tornadoes. And lastly, we have hurricanes. That's all the time we have for tonight. I'm your co-host, Allison Gutleber.
And I'm Joe Ruch. Have a great evening.